So, welcome again to this webinar. We are looking at strategic leadership, and our focus this morning is developing leadership skills. This is a very important area of focus, I would like to say, and I would like to be quite prompt to share with you the brief slides that I have prepared for this presentation that I believe are going to be very, very instrumental in letting you flow with me as I go through this. I want to say something very early right away that when it comes to leadership, with many people, the challenge is assuming that leadership is a position. But we're going to find out as we look at developing leadership skills here today that it is more than that. And our definition of leadership affects how we function in our areas of responsibility. So it is very important for us that we appropriately define what leadership is and also be able to help others develop in the area of responsibilities as leaders. So strategic leadership, which is our primary focus, is a unique function that somebody assumes in an organization. It's a unique function to spearhead improved methods of doing things, to facilitate achievement of set goals and objectives, to enhance competitiveness, and to ensure effectiveness, efficiency, and economy. So what are we saying by this? One of the things that I usually say during our leadership sessions is that a leader lives in the future. A leader lives in the future. In other words, a leader is futuristic. And when a leader works with the teams or the team that he or she leads, the leader is actually helping that team to move into the future where he has been or where he lives. So one of the primary characteristics that define the function of a leader is that a leader is very futuristic. A leader is able to see what's going to happen in the future and have a very panoramic understanding or a panoramic view, a comprehensive picture of how things are going to become in the future, and prepare their teams for that future, and of course facilitate advancement into that future. And this has to be done in the context of what I've put here as effectiveness. You need to make sure that as that happens, your teams are effective, meaning that they are capable to do what they must do. They are capable to do the right things. And efficiency, they are capable to do the right things within the desired or the set time scope or time frame. I want to say something that when it comes to efficiency, it's one of the challenges that many organizations, on our continent particularly have struggled with. You find that sometimes you are able to do things effectively, you're able to do the things that you must do, but then you are able to do them outside the scope of time. So you delay. And that delay has also some connotations such as, financial losses, and in that are attached to the loss of time, because it means that what you could have done with the other time that you have spent doing the right thing. Yes, the thing is right, but the thing is eaten into the time budget and has created an underlying costs. And of course, when you look at the factor of economy, we're talking about being able to do things to economize. So you see that our ability to lead our teams to do the right thing, that is effectiveness, and to do it, the right way within the correct time scope, that is efficiency, will help us to be able to finally do what we should do economically. Now, what we want to always remember is that leadership is not a position, but a function or a responsibility. So your excellence, how you excel, how you do things excellently in your area of responsibility is actually what characterizes or uniquely defines your leadership. It is not the title of your position. It is not how people call you in your organization or where you are positioned on your organogram. It is how you excel in your area of responsibility. When this is appropriately understood, you realize that almost everybody has to lead in their area of responsibility. And this is actually what creates a winning team. This is what creates a successful team, when everybody excels in their area of responsibility. Let me emphasize this point again. Remember always that leadership is not a position, but a function or a responsibility. And what characterizes that leadership, what makes it true, is your excellence, how you excel, you excelling in your area of responsibility. Now, I want to now move on to look at the core of our focus this morning: developing strategic leadership skills. Now, we're going to look at a number of skills that you need as a strategic leader. Now, what's also maybe we need to bear in mind is that when we talk about a strategic leader, we are not talking about a leader in general. We're talking of a strategic leader. In other words, we're talking of a leader who functions strategically, a leader who is able to embrace the future in a way that, come the future, the leader and the team that the leader is leading are both or together capable to still function competitively, effectively, efficiently, economically, because they have prepared themselves for the future. And as they position themselves for the future, they are not found wanting, or they do not lose their competitiveness, because circumstances have changed in the future, and what made them competitive in the past is no longer applicable in the future where they are going to. So let's look at some skills that you need as a strategic leader. Perhaps it will be important for me at this point to also define, what do I mean when I say skills? A skill is a unique capability. A skill is a unique capability by which you do things. A skill is a unique capability by which you do things in such a way that you win or succeed. You realize that the same thing that somebody else may do or may try to do unsuccessfully, if you give that responsibility to somebody who is skilled, that person, because of skill, because of that unique capability, they are able to succeed in the same area where somebody without skill could not succeed. So skill is a unique capability by which or through which you do things, and you always succeed as a result of that. So one of the primary skills you need as a strategic leader is you need to be visionary. You need to be visionary. You need the skills of a visionary. In other words, you need to do two things at least. Number one, you need to interpret the vision of your organization or your department. You could have a strategic vision for your department. You need to interpret that vision in detail, in finer detail, in practical terms, and see, the components or the factors that feed into the achievement of that vision, or that make that vision practical. That's number one. Number two, you need to be able to foresee the future. That's what we're talking about as a visionary skill. You need to be able to foresee what's coming. You need to be able to see the trends. Where are we going? You need to be able to extrapolate beyond the current period and see where things are going. This includes being analytical, to be able to analyze the behavior, the tendencies, the way your team members discharge their duties, the way your team members function. And you should be able to identify, current capacities or current skills that they have, and also be able to tell how those skills will help you as a team to still be competitive in the future. And if you discover, as you function from this visionary standpoint, as you identify that the current skills that my team members have, or maybe a particular team member has, do not suffice the requirements of maybe a future level of responsibility that the same team member or the same team as a whole would assume, then as a strategic leader who is visionary, you then work on upgrading or enhancing the skills of your team. If you are listening carefully to what I'm saying, you can realize that I'm also talking about you as a strategic leader, and I'm saying you are not a strategic leader if you are the only one who is a star in your team and everybody else, is incapable or incompetent. So as a strategic leader, you need to be able to foresee the future. And as you foresee the future, you need to be able to interpret how are the current capabilities of yourself and your team going to match, or do they match the demands of the future where you are going into, so that you remain or you become more competitive in that future. The second skill is the team builder skill. A strategic leader is a team builder. For you to be able to lead your department, your organization, or your team, strategically, it requires you to build a team. I want to tell you something. Think of any successful organization, international organization, that you may think of. I can almost guarantee you that if you research into how they were formed, how they operate, you see that they work, as teams, and not just a group. There's a difference between a group of people and a team. You can be a group and the way you do things is not interconnected or interdependent, but a team is one, though it is made up of many people. So when we say that you need to be a team builder, we are saying that you need to be able to connect the people that you are leading or you are working with. Let me say that again. You need to be able to connect your team members. You need to be able to connect your team members. Now, that connection of your team members is not just bringing them together, but you are also talking about giving them skill. Give each one of them skill. Train them. Let them develop skills that make them excel in their area of responsibility. And then let them appreciate the role that they play towards how other team members, function in their areas of responsibility. And let them also appreciate how other team members play a role that contributes to their performance in their area of responsibility, and let them place appropriate value on each other's areas of responsibility. And that is how you connect them. You don't connect them by an organogram only. You don't connect them by the uniform they wear only, but you connect them by skills, because it also includes interpersonal skills. It also includes, value systems where people value each other, as team members, and where they actually appreciate why should they do the things that they should do, and align themselves with the vision of the organization, the mission of the organization, and the core values of the organization. And that is what forms a team. So a team is not a team just because people are together. It is the connection, and the connection is the connection of skilled people. There's a difference between qualification and competence. So when we are talking about the skills, we are talking about the competence. It's good to have a qualification, but more than that, you need to be competent, to be able to deliver in your area of responsibility. And a strategic leader should ensure that every team member is capable to deliver in their area of responsibility. The third and fourth are quite related these skills, a strategic leader should be a reader. A strategic leader should be a reader. And this comes, I've put it quite related with the other skill. A strategic leader should be a researcher. So one of the things that really enhance your capability as a strategic leader is reading. Not just reading everything or the junk or whatever stuff that might be all around us on different platforms, but you are reading strategically. You know what kind of content, what kind of literature, what kind of insights inspire your area of responsibility as a leader, and you can daily allocate a certain number of minutes, perhaps 30 minutes, or even you may start with 15 minutes every day to research and to read something that affects your area of responsibility. Read one or two things, just 15 to 30 minutes. You can actually allocate this time, on your day, on your plan of daily activities, that every day, perhaps when you just get into office, maybe you're having tea, or I don't know what you do when you start your day, but you can start your day by reading. You can start your day by reading. You can extend the scope of reading into research, where you are actually trying to find out certain things and analyze certain information and see how it can affect what you are responsible for. Not least on the skills you need to develop as a strategic leader is the skill of a communicator. There's a very important definition I want to give you here that defines communication. And I believe that when you appreciate this definition, it will also enhance your communication skills. I define communication as listening to one another, or listening to each other. I decided some time ago to define communication using the word listening instead of the word talking, because I want to emphasize the listening. There is a tendency with many people that when they are communicating, they are actually not listening actively or attentively. They are thinking what to say when the other person finishes, or they're actually quite anxious. They're saying, finish what you're saying. I want to talk also. And this is usually what creates a handicap in communication, the inability to listen actively. So communication is a skill to listen to one another or to each other. So it's very, very important for a strategic leader to be a very good communicator. You need to be able to listen. Now, this listening skill also affects how you personally interact with the material you are reading. Sometimes as you're reading, or you're watching a video, you're watching a documentary, you realize that you need to listen attentively to whatever it is that is being said, so that your faculties of your mind are able to interact in a much deeper way or insightfully with the content that you are exposing yourself to. Now, this listening skill, it is very important. Let me tell you something about listening. Your ability to speak, let's say you speak Siswati, or you speak Sisutu, or you speak Shona, whichever language you speak, you will agree with me that you did not learn to speak that language when you went to school first. If these are your primary languages, your first languages, you learned these languages by hearing them at home. When you were young, when you were a baby growing up, in your early years, you would hear people speaking in that language. And that's how you were able to also speak in the same language with the same accent. So why is this important? It is because your listening skill affects your speech, or how you talk. So when you learn to listen, as you read, as you watch documentaries, as you research, that is actually how you're going to also communicate with your team. So as a strategic leader, you need this communication skill. It helps you in building your team. It helps you in inculcating skills into your team. Because remember, as you build a team, like I've said on number 2, you see, team building skills include communication as a very integral aspect of it. Yet, I would like to say this thing, that when you are building your team, of course, there's an aspect of teaching where you impart knowledge. And at that point, you give information to your team members. It's okay. But then there's a dimension of the team building aspect where you need to actually inculcate skills. You need to drill skills, to instill skills. And this comes with both the teaching and instructive skills. You need to be able to train your people to receive instructions and implement them. Because some people are not able to do so because of a predisposition. They just have a tendency that they feel very bad when they are told what to do. But you need to train them until they appreciate why it is important to follow certain instructions, because it makes them aligned with the operation strategy of the organization. It makes them aligned with the vision, the mission, and the values of the organization. And it makes them excel in their area of responsibility. And it also makes them not to become frictional to how you function as a team. So in this brief presentation this morning, I wanted to highlight these skills that you need as a leader. Number 1 that I gave you today here, I gave you that a leader must have a visionary mind. You need the ability to see into the future. You need a futuristic mind. You need to be able to interpret, where are we? How are we going into the future? Do we have the capacity, or our current capacity? Does it match the demands of the future? Then you prepare for it. Secondly, you need to be able to build a team of people that are skilled, not just knowledgeable, but that are skilled. And you need to emphasize this. There's a saying that goes, if you cannot read, you cannot lead. If you cannot read, you cannot lead. So leaders are readers, or readers are leaders. As a leader, you must read. I've recommended to you, dedicate 15 to 30 minutes for the start every day as a leader to read, because this is what develops your strategic leadership skills. Research. Don't just do things in abstract. Research. Find out more. How are others doing these things? How has this thing been done before? And one thing that's very interesting is that, when you talk about the future, there are many people that, even though you are in the same year, they are in your future. They are where you are yet to go to. So you can research, what are others doing? And this can also inspire your skills development. It can enhance your capacity. And these are some of the benefits of researching. And of course, a leader is a communicator. You need to be able to communicate effectively as a leader. And I want to recommend that you develop these skills. And this is what I've actually been trying to summarize in this. Number 1, visionary skill. Number 2, team builder skill. Number 3, reading skills, researching skills. Number 4, and number 5, communication skills. This is what will make you. These are just the basics. There's so much that will be coming on as we continue to meet on this platform, and we share. And I would like to say at this point that, if you have liked this, you want to learn more, the same time, the same link, every Thursday, 8:30 as Central African time, you can just click on the same link if you like to join, and we'll be building up on this. But today I just did this introduction. So I would like to invite you. On Tuesday I have a session and on customer service strategy and brand positioning. This is more of a strategic marketing topic, but on Thursdays we have leadership skills, strategic leadership skills. You can always join in, and I would like you to feel free to be to be part of the session. At this point, I want to open up for any questions or any comments that maybe any of you might have before we end up this morning's presentation. Please, if you'd like to ask or say something, just unmute yourself.